All right, everyone, welcome back to another weekly episode of the Weeb Weekly. We got a pretty big week here, not nearly as big as last week, but I mean, my God, how can you measure up to last week? This week, we're going to be talking MHA. We're going to be talking the finale of Invincible, the bloodiest thing I've seen since Blood Sea. We are going to be talking seasonal anime recommendations. We're going to be catching up with Jose. We're going to be doing manga with Mizu. And lastly, we are going to be talking Yasuke, the 6-episode Netflix special that we got this week. And it was a good amount of fun. But before we get into all that, how about we check in with Jose coming out of Texas?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Excited to see y'all for another amazing week of the Weeb Weekly.
And Mizu coming out of Baltimore, Crab City.
What's going on, everybody? What's up? Can't wait to talk about a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about, especially Yasuke.
Yeah, and that is what we call, ladies and gentlemen, a segue, because that's where we're starting. We're going to start with Yasuke, and it is something that we have all been very excited for a while here now, because Yasuke is based off a true person. Now, I'm not going to say the story was based off history by any means, considering there was mechs and stands and magic. But Yasuke, based off a black samurai in the Edo period of Japan, who served under Oda Nobunaga. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. Not the route I thought we were going to go. I thought we were going to get a more traditional samurai anime. What do you guys think? Did it meet your expectations at all?
Well, I'll go first. So for those who don't know, I have been talking about Yasuke and Yasuke getting a platform forever. Like, I've been hoping that this story got a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
And when I finally heard that Netflix was doing a original anime with Yasuke, I was so excited. What we got was very different than what I expected.
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
And I think that had to do with I feel like most of the trailers are kind of misleading.
They looked more traditional.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of stuff just kind of didn't make sense. Like I said, of course, the mechs and stuff like that. Now I will say this. If you go in, and I already tell you, like, we're telling you guys that, oh yeah, this is just a fictional telling of the story of Yasuke, and it's a fantasy telling, then I think people's perspective would be a lot different and may have liked it more.
Yeah.
But myself, I was kind of like confused at first. I was like, why are there mechs in this?
Yeah.
And overall, I think in my subjective opinion, I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. In my objective, critical opinion, there were a lot of issues.
There really wasn't there? Okay, I didn't want to lead with the negativity, but I'm in the same boat. We got it was like 30 seconds into the first episode, there was mechs, and I was like, okay, interesting. And then there was magical arrows, and I was okay, so we're doing a fantasy telling here. I don't know why. Here's the thing, like you could have done like the magic and the werebear and all that, and like that would have been fine. But like now we have mechs and there's living robots and it's Edo Japan, and it was a bit all over the place. I thought Yasuke was a really cool character. I thought they did a good job of his character progression. I think it is a good look into, I mean, because there was things about him that were true. He did start a servant and he worked his way up to samurai. They used his real name and his origin story. Was he the person who killed Oda Nobunaga? Probably not. But like it was definitely very interesting. And there was fun aspects of that were accurate to Edo Japan, like Hideyoshi. Hideyoshi was Matsuhide. Matsuhide is the assassin of Oda Nobunaga. And he was the bad guy. That was pretty cool. The daimyo was very interesting. And it played into the trope of big man protects small, powerful girl. You know, we got the Hound, we got Arya, we got Yasuke, and we got, God, I'm forgetting her name already, Saki. And it was interesting. There was moments that were good to me, but like episode 4 or 5, I just caught myself scrolling through my phone, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. did believe that it was a weird show to only make it 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should have done the 10, or if you want to, if because of production problems, maybe at most it would have been a good 8.
Yeah.
And I think they should have used those episodes to maybe explain the world building more, because I am happy to a point that they tried to attempt to explain the mechs, but they didn't explain it hard enough.
Did they? Yeah, they were like
Yeah,
Daimyo Dark
said
Power.
They said that the mechs came from the Mongols. The Mongols created the mechs, and basically Japan mimicked their ability to create mechs. And of course, what you said, it's based in Japan. And like, how do you guys have the technology to create mechs, but you still live in this kind of medieval
feudal style
era?
And we're using bows.
Like,
what are we doing? Like, one guy's shooting laser beams, the other shooting a bow. Like, meet in the middle.
Exactly. Like, so you have the technology to make robots, but y'all still don't have like decent plumbing or
aqueducts,
like sentient robots. But yeah, no unified Japan. Like, it was
not even guns, or
not even guns.
I don't mean even just when I say guns, I don't mean like your modern day guns. I mean also like
no muskets,
back in that time there were guns, like firearms that existed.
It's how Oda Nobunaga. That's how Oda Nobunaga unified Japan, was guns. Like, he so what was cool is that they did bring the Danes into like trading ports, and like Danish people like introduced Oda Nobunaga to guns, and then Oda Nobunaga used that to unify a large part of Japan. And that was interesting. But yeah, it was I guess they were like, this is our take on the technology that's being introduced. My thing was there was a few we're leading with the negatives here for sure, but there was a few things that were very positive about the show. One, I thought the voice acting out of the guy, I'm spacing his name, the guy out of Sorry to Bother You. Yes, I thought he did a very good job. Flying Lotus did a really good job with the soundtrack. Thundercat was on there as well. Thundercat just won a Emmy, not for his work on that, but I think the soundtrack was really incredible. The opening was a lot of fun, and there was really fun fights. There was really, really fun fights. Like, looking back into Yasuke's past, where he gets to fight all of the samurais who are like being like, Oda Nobunaga doesn't accept the old ways. And it was obviously there was a fair amount of talk about, a black man or a woman being accepted as a samurai and letting go of the old ways. I thought that was pretty cool. So there was definitely redeeming qualities of the show. You think so, right, Mizu?
Oh, absolutely. I go back to what you said, that I think one of the highlights of it were the flashbacks, because the flashbacks showed the actual true parts of what happened to Yasuke, how the story is, and what we know about him so far. And I thought those were fantastic, looking at how he got there, how he met Oda. And I like how they actually had the scene where Oda meets him, and at first, like, they didn't believe that his skin was actually black.
They tried to wash him. Yeah, exactly.
And that actually happened. That was actually a thing that actually happened. Of course, the voice acting, I liked it. I liked Lakeith Stanfield. Honestly, none of the voice acting was bad at all. I also surprisingly, I liked the preacher's voice too. Like, the preacher dude, the Catholic man who was there. I liked his design. I liked how he sounded. Yeah, he sounded menacing, and I thought that he was going to be the main villain of this whole thing.
Not for long. No, very symbolically killed, let's say. I wrote down, I was like, well, first off, I said the priest is Palpatine, because he got gray and then started shooting lightning out of his fingers. And then B, I said, it must be so hard to be a religious weeb. I was like, because it feels like every show I watch, like, I'm not a religious person myself, but every show I watch, it's just like, guess who's the big bad? And it's the priest. And I'm like, oh, I was like, I get that, like, Japan has a complicated history with Christianity, but I was like, oh, it'd be so hard to watch this and be like, where are the good guys? Like, it'd be so tough.
And I thought that part right there was actually very accurate. Like, I wish that he was the main bad guy, because, like, with that whole history between Japan and Christianity, that would have made sense to have like a feud compared to the not very well explained daimyo. No, the daimyo was very different.
Yeah,
it didn't explain where she came from, or like
Nope.
it is just there. And plus, here's the thing: I was kind of confused a little bit. So Daimyo is a lord of a section of land in Japan.
Yeah.
So I was just like, wait, so is this only happening to a part of Japan, or is this happening to all of Japan?
Only in like Oda Nobunaga's like unified area, like
exactly. Like, is this now? We could be wrong. Maybe he just used the term daimyo to make us sound like important in that way. But when I was thinking of like the story like daimyo, I was like, wait, this is only like this is only happening to a section of Japan, and this is only if this is only happening to a section of Japan. What is the rest of Japan doing? Like this, because you see this crazy sorcerer woman monkey thing, whatever she was.
Yeah.
Is like tearing this whole province up, and everybody's just okay with it.
Yeah. She just has like this limitless dark army filled with mechs that she controls with her dark spatial power. We don't really know how she got her power. She gives it to Matsuhide, who ends up overrunning Oda Nobunaga. It was definitely, it felt like it could have been longer. They could have like when we were texting about it, you were like, it's only 6 episodes, half hour each, and I was like, it feels really short, because usually when Netflix does an animated feature, they do that 8 that will at least with like Castlevania, and I'm blanking any others. It's usually 8 episodes, 40-ish minutes, you know, and they flesh it out. And I thought it was going to be more in the vein of Castlevania or Dota. They recently adapted the Dota games into an anime, which is actually pretty good. But yeah, no, it definitely felt like it was almost rushed. And I'm not gonna say it was bad, but am I gonna go back and rewatch it anytime soon? Probably not. No.
And it's funny that you mentioned that. One of my mutuals, Travis Sibling, he does talks about anime on TikTok, and we did a live together on there. And he asked me, would I recommend this to anyone? And it was a hard question. I had to think about it, because like I would recommend it, because like the story is not very talked about. Like, it's crazy how it took this long for such an interesting story to be finally adapted into,
because it is a really interesting origin story. Like it's like arguably the first black man that we know of in Japan.
Not even just that. Like, it's the part that I like about it is that not only was he the first black samurai, he is the first foreigner to ever gain the title of samurai.
Exactly.
He paved the way for other foreigners to eventually become samurai. There's like a European samurai. There are other people from different countries who became samurai. So he's the one who basically started it all.
It really felt like Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai without the pole. It didn't get my teeth. Like, there's the light jazz, like there's the jazz hip hop like background, like very like good OP, and then it was just it just didn't pull me in, you know. It was a good like background watch, but like of all the things that we're going to talk about this week, me specifically, because I am going to be breaking down all the seasonal anime of like at least the important ones. I can't. I would recommend it if you're interested in Edo period Japan, but outside of that, I can't necessarily get behind a full-blooded like recommendation.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would recommend it to people who just want to hear the interesting story about him. But what I recommend it just in general as an anime to watch, no.
There's better things out there. Yeah, there's better things out there for sure.
There are better things out there. And the part that also is very sad as well is that, for those who don't know, this was actually made or written by the same person who made Cannon Busters. And Cannon Busters is another Netflix original anime that centers around mostly people of color. And that's like a whole setup. And
beautifully animated as well.
Definitely. But here's the thing. The same problems from Cannon Busters existed in Yasuke.
I got 4 episodes into Cannon Busters and dropped it.
So here's the thing with that. The person who created it is a big fan of anime.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of anime. He loves anime. And in a bad way, it shows, because he puts in almost every anime trope
he can.
In there.
Trim the fat is what I would say to him. Like look at it objectively and be like, do we need mechs? Do we need the sentient robot? Like, sure, magic is cool. Magic fits into like there's
the feel.
There's a vibe, of Edo style, like of Edo Japan. It's magic, it's mysticism. and even bring in the Russian werebear, because a large, like there is Japanese lore of fox women that like protect shrines, and I thought that's where they were gonna go with the lotus charm. I thought that was gonna
so much better after you just said that. Like,
yeah,
why didn't they just go with the kitsune, like the whole So here,
because they were long, slim women who sang, and I was like, and they wear a charm, and I was like, that's
great.
That's a shrine woman. Yeah, I was like, the shrine woman, like who uses her body, like her sexuality, to trap men. I was like, that would be really cool. But then it was just kind of people. It was just a clan.
Yeah, I think that, there was a lot going on. There was like too much going on. And I think it would have been better. And a lot of people, like I said, including myself, really thought that this was actually going to be a real like period drama. This was going to be just a animated version of loosely historical events.
Yeah.
And honestly, as you said with the magic, honestly, I wouldn't have mind the magic.
No.
If it was just toned down just a little bit, I wouldn't have mind the magic. I would have looked over the magic. But you have magic plus mutants plus robots.
Yeah.
Like, you just had so much going on. And the part that also got my attention is that, wait, so you got all these super powered individuals.
Yeah.
So you're just assuming in your head that, oh, Yasuke must also have some type of superpower abilities to face these kinds of individuals, but he doesn't, which was confusing. I'm like, oh, because he's fighting a robot, a sentient robot, a werebear,
a guy with a stand,
a guy with a stand, a guy pretty much with a stand, a shaman, a woman with a scythe, and a crazy mutant priest, and he has no powers.
And he's just the black giant.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I love
and here's the thing. They could have played on that, him having powers, because in the actual history, Oda, in his diary notes, he said that Yasuke had the strength of 10 men. Like, he had the, of course, he would maybe been over exaggerating, but they could have played on that. They could have played on, oh yeah, he's really strong. They could have made that his secret power.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was definitely a little underwhelming. And that's just where I'm willing to leave it. Underwhelmed.
Honestly, and I definitely agree with that, because one thing that annoys me is that we don't get, like I said, we don't get enough of these stories, especially with stories centered around, people of color or like Black characters. Like, this is like the third. Like, I can't only count on my hand how many like their
Black MCs.
Exactly.
I don't
and
even. Afro Samurai. This.
Cannon Busters.
That's all I can think of.
For real.
Castlevania, maybe? Yeah, we mentioned Castlevania, right?
Castlevania.
For I guess Netflix original anime
one of the servants of Dracula.
Oh yeah.
He's I wouldn't call him the main character. He's probably he's like 4th or 5th in the roster. But yeah, he has a very interesting story. And he's actually very well written.
Definitely. And
he's actually a Black Muslim too, which is cool.
Oh yeah, you got that too. And I just think that we don't get enough stories like that. And when we finally do, they always kind of, not all of them, but like Yasuke and Cannon Busters, like they kind of crash and burn. And the problem I have frustration with that is sometimes, for those who don't know, like sometimes studios, especially both in like animation or even in Hollywood, there's this perception that, movies with Black main characters or a predominantly Black cast won't sell. It won't happen. Like, it won't do very good. It won't do very well. And when they do fail, it's not that, oh, maybe it was because of the writing. It's maybe because of these. Like, no, it's because they were Black.
It was because of Black story. Failed. Yeah. But so it was, in this circumstance, it was the writing.
Exactly. So that's the thing I'm worried about, is that all the things that made it fail were the writing, for absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe some people, or maybe hopefully not, hopefully Maba doesn't think this way, or Netflix, that, oh, it failed because people just didn't want to hear the story about Yasuke. Like, no, it's not that people don't want to hear the story about Yasuke. You just didn't do it very well.
You just didn't write it super great, yeah.
For real.
And it looks like they were setting it up for season 2. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think that's why they kind of did that. What I'm also happy with, unlike Cannon Busters, because they kind of put it off on a cliffhanger as if they were going to get a season 2. And mind you, Cannon Busters came out in like 2018, and we haven't heard anything.
We haven't heard anything.
And luckily it didn't do that. Like it did kind of to a point, but it kind of did finish. Like it did. I would say that there is a clear ending to Yasuke, but they did put in some ambiguity that there would be maybe some more to come. But I mean, overall, hopefully, another positive I see is that it gets the discussion out there about Yasuke. So even though it's not the best interpretation, a lot of people are now interested in who this person is. My wife and I were watching it, and she never heard the story. And while the time we were watching it, she was actually Googling his story as she was watching the story, like watching the show. So hopefully that inspires enough people to look up the story. Exactly. And hopefully maybe somebody else out there might give it a go and maybe tell the story a lot better. Yeah.
Cool. Well, unless you have anything else to say, I'd like to talk about something that was directly the opposite of underwhelming. Sensory overload is what I'm going to say. Overwhelming.
Big facts.
Was the finale of Invincible. I made a video about it on TikTok. I finished the episode and I just sat on my kitchen floor because I was scarred, and I was like, I need someone to talk to about this. Yeah, I finished it. Jose, just as I finished it, Jose starts watching it. He's like, this finale is fucked up. And I was like, I know. Next morning, I got a text from Mizu, which, by the way, I know we did Nick's round of applause last week. Let's do Mizu's round of applause this week. Mizu says, I told y'all they were Saiyans. And you know what? You were goddamn right. What did you think of the Bloodfest? Gentlemen. Also, I'm going to change because I'm sweating. I'm putting a t-shirt
It's all good. It's all good.
You can go first, Yeti.
Yeah, so just to start, the intensity was racked up to a freaking 1,000, right? From the beginning, we saw a father and son clash, which was well overdue. And as Nick and Mizu mentioned, like we needed an explanation. Like it can't just be because he got it. And it turns out the Viltrumites are basically a trial by fire society. Yep. And in order to protect or protect in their case is a little bit loose of a term. It's more of the Frieza way of protection, which is domination. They basically just killed each other off until only the cream of the crop survived, and now they are
the third partiers.
Exactly.
That's the thing. You know, there's probably some great guys out there who just got like Apex fourth partied. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Super bad. Like typical DMR zone play right there. So basically, they just selected each of the best Viltrumites to give them a world and weaken the world from its protectors, just until Viltrum is ready to conquer that world. Yeah, and that is the role of Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man. That's why he killed the Guardians of the Globe, because as soon as he saw that his son had powers, he realized, okay, now I can actually take control of the world. Like now I don't have to do it like by myself. So, or at least that's how I interpreted it. And they went fucking ham with the whole humans are trash or fodder. There was so much. This rivaled The Boys in terms of just wanton destruction. So Omni-Man literally did not care. Like his son was literally doing the superhero job of like trying to do as little collateral damage as possible. And he just literally took a pilot's face and turned it into some sashimi right in front of him.
I forgot about that scene.
He didn't deserve all of that.
Bro,
the tongue was still there.
The train scene is something we'll get into later. But like the thing that stuck to me the most is like, okay, this man is holding on to so for those of you that don't know, like obviously there's a fight between the dad. Spoiler alert at this point.
That's what timestamps are for.
Yeah, Omni-Man and Invincible have a fight, and they get to Chicago, I believe. Yeah. And then a building starts to collapse from Invincible's impact because he's getting clapped in 4K. So he tries holding a building up with one hand and holding on to a victim that's falling off the building with the other. The building inevitably falls, obviously, and then he's literally holding on. It's like, okay, we're gonna get you to safety. And you look around, and it's literally full on like Jurassic Park arm just stuck out begging for mercy. And I'm like, oh my god, this show is wild. So I'm giving it as close to a 10 as possible. I did think that they could have done just a tad bit more in terms of explaining how I know there's gonna be like season 2 and 3, so I can't you can't explain everything, but like what are the repercussions, right? So like how are the Guardians of the Globe now going to prep, right? Because right now they're just chilling, right? Right now they're just chilling and trying to prep as best as they can, training. But like you saw that man turn Omni-Man into like a furniture table, right?
Yeah.
So like Omni-Man turned the Immortal into that's what I was gonna say.
Who was the strongest amongst them? He's supposed to be Vandal Savage meets someone else. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, okay, could you add a little bit of context? Like, how are you doing it? And we did get a cameo from Seth Rogen's character at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, which is great because now we see that the Council of the Worlds are trying to fight back. But that's the only like slight and not even issue. It's just like, okay, like, I mean, you already saw Invincible, which is a Viltrumite, get clapped. Like, what the fuck are you guys gonna do? So that's the only thing that I had a problem with. But like, if we are covering everything else, I'm doing it like a 9.5, 9.7 out of 10.
Yeah. What do you think, Mizu?
2 words. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I definitely agree with you with The Boys. Like, this is just on the same level as graphic as The Boys was, especially that train scene. Like the level of not giving a damn.
Yeah,
I've never seen a character. There are plenty of characters in fiction that have that ability, but Omni-Man, I think at this point solidifies not caring.
Yeah,
no fucks given, bro.
Well,
because well, to a point, of course.
Yeah. Keep going.
But we see Mark struggling, as you said earlier. We see Mark struggling to save lives as this is going on, and just Omni-Man not caring at all. And as it's going on, he's just like, why are you wasting your time with such a pathetic excuse of a civilization? Like, as a human, that hurt. I mean, dang, we're trying.
But looking at them fight, like use like Chicago as basically like ropes in a boxing ring, kind of put it in perspective.
For real, like they were literally background. They were just background. Especially when he did with the train scene, especially when we're looking at it from Mark's perspective of what is happening.
Oh, yeah. Bro.
That was insane. Like, now it makes you think, like, if you did have powers, like you have powers like them, like, or like Superman, like this is your life. This is what is going to be your life and how strong you are. Like, it just puts in perspective of the power that they have. And especially how I said earlier, like they're like Sans and their whole Darwinism attitude towards things. Like, one thing that kind of piqued my interest is that Omni-Man said that Viltrumite DNA is so strong that
you're basically full-blooded.
Like, you're basically, he said, Mark is, even though he's technically half human, he's not half human. He's pretty much full on Viltrumite.
Yeah.
Like, his
he'll
human
live
side
for
is
thousands of years. Dude,
so,
that's ridiculous.
See, we did learn a lot, and that was one of the biggest talking points was yes, he's not half human. Like, the only thing that's human about him is his sentimentality. That is it. And I personally was very wrong. I thought I wanted Omni-Man to be a good person, and I guess in the end he kind of was okay, I guess. But that is one of the many things we learned. On top of that is when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, like a train in Mark's face, it seems like the unstoppable object is going to win. Because for those of you who are wondering what this train scene we keep talking about is, essentially the fight in Chicago goes from the upper streets to the underground. And at this point, Mark is trying to fight to get his dad back, in the sense that he understands his dad to exist. His dad being a human with supernatural powers. A hero, exactly. He's trying to talk his father into the sentimentality that he understands he always had. But he doesn't have that. And Omni-Man, or Nolan, is trying to say, basically, you're going to outlive all of these people. Everything that you love will turn to dust, because you will live for thousands of years. Viltrum DNA is exactly the same as Guardian DNA. The older you get, the slower you age. Or no, that's not how it was. That is how it was.
I don't know if the art. You get stronger basically the older you are.
And so he's like, by the time you look 30, everyone you know will be dead. So for all we've known, Nolan, we see a flashback before Nolan is sent to Earth. He's got the gray hair. He's looked that way for years. He's telling Mark, this lifetime is a speck in my lifetime. Your mother isn't my wife. She is a pet to me. Because she will exist for 60 years in what is a 3,000 year life, maybe. And we get these, and then essentially that. So I'm saying, I'm giving the context here, and then the fight spills into the train station, where Omni-Man sees a train is on the way, so he picks up Mark by the back of his head and holds him as the train is approaching. And I know there's probably tons of people there who've never been on a train in a city listening to this podcast, but trains come into stations at like 40 miles an hour for some reason. And so Omni-Man just sits there with Mark's face and has a train run through Mark. And we cut to Mark's vision as he's flailing around and his body is just slicing humans in half. And if that doesn't put into perspective what the rest of this episode was like, I don't know what can. Then Omni-Man proceeds to punch Mark halfway across the world into what I assume is Mount Everest, and then beat his shit in until he remembers that Mark is his son. In this speck of his lifetime, he has picked up that human sentimentality, and he abandons his post, which apparently a Viltrumite has never done, according to Seth Rogen when we see him later. What'd you guys think of that moment? Did you see it coming?
I thought that was very interesting, and especially what side note, that whole scene between Mark and Omni-Man fighting, it puts a whole different level of like father-son beef on a whole different perspective. Like,
bro.
You guys thought that Endeavor and Shoto from My Hero had some problems. This is some crazy shit right now. Like this is the worst. Like
Goku is the dad of the year.
Goku's dad of the year, bro.
Yeah.
Like worst dad of the year, like for real. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I like how it showed off that there is possibly some good in Omni-Man or Nolan and his years being on planet Earth, especially with his wife and Mark. And plus, one thing I thought that was interesting that you kind of a little bit brought up is when he made the comment about his age and how long they live. He said, what are you going to have in the next 500 years?
Yeah.
And then Mark says to him, Butterly says, I would still have you. I would still have you, Dad.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, wow.
That was deep.
That cut deep for me, honestly. And I wanted to mention that specifically because it's a literal direct parallel to the Winter Soldier. I'm with you till the end of the line, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like he tried to appeal to the small speck of human that is ingrained in Nolan through his mom. And I like how they did it. I did not expect Nolan to beat Mark up to that point. Like I didn't know that it was within an inch of his life, basically. Yeah. Like it's wild, right? And Debbie having to listen to all of this. Like I don't even know how she was able to pull through. But another thing that I wanted to talk about, which was really cool, is that they actually gave some context into what Cecil, the role that Cecil plays, right? So we saw in the previous episode that he said, yeah, I know, like this is why I hate myself, because like I have to distrust everyone in order to find like balance in power now that we're just like not alone, right? There's people with superpowers, so we got to not trust all of them. Typical Batman approach.
Lex Luthor,
and he actually pulled through, right? Like he tried to be as comforting as possible within a maniacal what's it called, a maniacal department leader would be. He did say like, look, we covered it with the school, we covered it with like your people, we said that Nolan's dead, so his books are going to sell more, so you guys will be financially stable. We're trying to do as best as like under the circumstances, considering the world is in shambles after seeing their hero literally turn on them. I'm trying, you see, I'm trying to help. And we see Debbie being like, okay, bet, like I get it, thank you. for at least trying. I am really excited to see where the story is going. I obviously want to see a full scale invasion of the Viltrumites and see how Mark can deal with that, because that'll
You
be
think
pretty
war's
interesting.
coming to Earth?
Oh, it has to.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Or the thing, or I'm trying to call it now, is that
okay. He
that,
wants his round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I think that Nolan will steer like people away, or try to steer the Viltrumites away from like conquering Earth. Be like, it's not worth conquering, or something like that. Because why would would he leave his post saying like, oh, my son is like stronger than me, or like I have a son? Because the Viltrumites don't know that he has a son there. Like he didn't even expect him to have his powers. He was gonna just like clap him after he got to a certain point, I guess. But I think that's where they're gonna subvert our expectations and be like, look, I think not the full. I don't think it's gonna be like the full Darth Vader thing where he just betrays everybody. I think he'll be like, okay, let's try to stop that and try to see where that goes. But the clue that maybe steers me away from fully believing this theory of mine is when Seth Rogen says like, look, the Council of Worlds is talking about this now, because this is like, we have to come up with an armada, right? Like this is the first time that the Viltrum Empire has like had a misstep, right? There's never been a Viltrumite that has left their post. So I'm intrigued. I'm excited. This cast was amazing. Every single character got closure in the best way. I did want a little bit more from Amber. I think we had a
talking point there. Yeah.
We had enough from Adam Eve. We had enough from Robot and kind of like the little monster girl. But I think we're primed for season 2, and I cannot wait for it.
So my thing is, actually, my talking point on Amber, I guess, goes in a completely different direction from yours. Is I didn't love Amber coming back. You know, a part of me was very petty. She was like, listen, I broke up with you, but you're having a bad day, so let's get back together. And I was like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
I was like, that is not how. She was like, yeah, you might have been lying to me, but it seems like somebody was lying to you. And I was like, I have been on, listen, I think Mark and Amber make a very cute couple. But I have been on the Eve train for so long.
Retweet.
It makes sense. They're both heroes. And I was like, all right, coming along. I hear the knock. I'm assuming it's Eve, and it's not. It's Amber, and now they're back together. And I just wasn't.
We got 2 more seasons. 2 more seasons, man.
We got plenty of time. So my thing is, I don't think battle's coming to Earth. I think the scale we're gonna see. So I basically at the end, we got a smash hit of a bunch of things. We got Cecil mass producing the robots that put Mark on World Star, and almost put in an Omni-Man struggled with. Like, he's got tons of them. And now we got we have the Martian invasion, like the Mars alien race taking over Mars. And we have, I think there was the gravity dude. The gravity dude made a bunch of golems. So I think
the Mahler twins.
Yep, the Mahler twins are back in jail. That was a really funny scene, because like the dude with like the arm cast, he's like, I've been good to you. God, I love them so much. But so I think we're like gonna open up next season with Mark being the new Omni-Man. But I think the way I think of the Council of Worlds is that they are they're the Lanterns. Essentially, in my mind, they're an amalgam of different species and races from different planets that have sent their most powerful to fight against, I guess, just cosmic evils like the Viltrum Empire in this circumstance. So I think it's gonna be a Viltrumite was born, a Viltrumite abandoned his post. Now Earth is gonna become the rallying point for a fight against Viltrum. And I think we're gonna go to a lot of different worlds. At least I'm hoping. How about you, Mizu? Where do you think we're going with the next couple of seasons? I mean, I know the comics are out. I don't know. I don't think you've read them, so people already know. They'll know if we're wrong.
I haven't read them, but I'm contemplating reading them. Mm-hmm. But what I think is kind of a mixture or in between with you guys, which your guys is both ideas. So I think that first, because of the emotional thing that happened to Omni-Man, because we saw him like, shed some tears as he left Earth.
Yeah.
So I think he's just going to disappear. I think he's just going to disappear for a hot. So I think he's going to disappear, like just like maybe to get himself some like closure. I think he's just going to go somewhere. I don't know.
Dr. Manhattan and just sit on the moon and just like build an empire
I don't
on the
think
moon.
he's going to be on Earth. I think he's just going to be on some random planet, like maybe like Mars or something. Not Mars.
Well, they tracked him
maybe
out
like
of
Jupiter.
the solar system. They tracked him out of the solar system. So they said he was going somewhere and it was far away.
So yeah, I think he's going to be on some maybe random planet, but it doesn't sound like he's going back to Voltrum. And
how do you at that point?
Exactly. I don't think it's gonna be a full-on invasion, but I do think that they're gonna send somebody. They're gonna send some Voltrumites there. Like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, somebody abandoned the post, go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And people come in like 3s or 4s. They're probably gonna maybe send 3 of them, be like,
okay,
that'd
be a problem.
Happened? Where is he at? What happened to Nolan? What happened to whatever I don't know if it's that his actual real name or is that just his Earth name, Nolan?
I think Nolan was just his Earth name.
I don't think we got his like full name though.
Yeah, like we didn't get his Kal-El,
Yeah, we didn't get that.
But
yeah, keep going.
Oh, my bad. So yeah, they're gonna be looking for him and wondering why hasn't Earth been conquered, and maybe they might do themselves.
Yeah. No,
I think all I can see. I don't see.
No, continue.
Oh, my bad.
No,
I was gonna say I think we won't see. I assume that we won't see, going off of like an episode basis. I think we won't find out about what happened to Omni-Man maybe like mid or to the near end of maybe season 2.
Like he comes back to like save Mark in a fight or something, like all grizzled, something like that. That's what you say.
Probably. Or like you said, they're probably going to explore planets. So maybe one day Mark maybe just finds the planet or that where Nolan is on. Yep.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I am very, very excited for season 2. I've said that. I think obviously they already picked it up for 2 more seasons. Amazon Prime, that's the thing. Amazon Prime has the money to do it. Honestly, when it comes to TV shows, they don't put out a lot, but they don't actually miss that often. They've done pretty well. They got a new thing coming out with Michael B. Jordan, kind of interested in, honestly. But they killed it with the voice casting, and the hype is there, and the comics are loved. And so I know that I have a good feeling for the upcoming seasons. Everyone's commenting on my videos. They're not spoiling anything, but they're like you thought this season was crazy. Like, wait, like I've read the comments and comics, and it's gonna go full on crazy. But yeah, so I'm stoked. What do you think of Mizu?
So that's another thing I was wondering. So I heard from a lot of people that that the comments are huge. Like the comics are huge. Yeah. Like the comics have a long running series, and it makes me wonder, would it go, like I'm saying, like pretty long? So it makes me wonder, would it be able to be finished in 3 seasons? Because I can see it possibly being a longer running
show,
a cartoon, like a animation. I don't think that there aren't a lot of animations. Of course, like if you make it like an anime, like usually anime can go on for many seasons on, but we never see American animated TV shows do that a lot.
I think 5 or 6 seasons.
I think maybe the most successful one that made it like to 3 or more was probably Avatar.
Avatar only did 3 though,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like after 3, like you need to have a good reason to have it continue, unless you're doing like a spin-off series or something.
Yeah, like Young Justice did 3. Yeah, Young Justice did 3. Teen Titans did 3.
The thing is, I think like to piggyback off of Mizu's point, like everything that I've heard from Invincible has been good. So like at least until they mess it up, you could just have you could just keep it going. Like as long as you keep the commentary up of like what it is to be a hero, how wild can you get in terms of like the world building. You can take it wherever, right? Because I mean, we've done it for decades with like Superman, Batman, and all these people. Like, I mean, as long as there's source material and as long as like the adaptations people like them and they're good, just keep it going. And unlike Mortal Kombat, just like keep it going, bro.
Yeah, just keep it going. Just keep it going. Yeah. I just remembered also Titan. We got Titan in that finishing like mash 'em up section. We're seeing Titan run shit from. So yeah, like there's like infinite possibilities for them to keep going into. Do we have any last points on Invincible other than it's incredible?
Oh my god. Keep the cast. Please keep
the
the cast.
Right.
I was so happy to see Kevin Michael Richardson. For those of you that don't know, he is Goro in the original Mortal Kombat movie. He is Captain Gantu in Lilo and Stitch. You've seen him in a lot of stuff. He's probably the recent one that I remember him from was like Batman, the Joker in the Batman animated series, not like the 90s one, just like the one from 2004 2008, I think.
Yeah.
He is a very talented voice actor, and for him just to play the Mauler twins, oh, love it.
Yeah.
And bro, we got
I would
Mark
take a
Hamill.
Mauler. Yeah,
we got Mark Hamill in the show. I'm like, oh yes.
I would take
love
a
it.
Mauler twins spinoff. I would.
Oh, big
in
facts.
a heartbeat.
Big facts.
And
I want to see Omni-Man fight Goku to see how long he can last, you know, because like
no lasers coming out of his eyes. He's got no lasers.
All I'm saying is Mark is very young and he did his best to try to stop Omni-Man and he didn't even leave a scratch.
No, the Immortal did more damage.
I'm like, damn.
Plus, what I heard is in the first episode, at the very end of the episode, we see him take on the Guardians.
Yeah,
and we kind of see him get taken down. I heard in the comics that did not go that way. Like Omni-Man in the comics straight up one shot at them all without difficulty.
It's a murder. It's a murder.
So in the show, they made it look like it was a kind of a good tussle, but in the comics, it was not like that apparently.
Oh, damn.
I mean, a good amount of them did get kind of disrespected.
War Woman simply.
Batman got used as a club. The Martian got ripped in. The only person who really left any impact was the Immortal, and that was going to be my closing note: was let the man rest.
Oh, true.
Let the Immortal rest, please, because that's another thing we saw in the end. They're bringing the Immortal back, and at this point, I'm like, is that the right name for him? Like, I was like, this man has been killed twice. Let him sleep, please.
This man would be very happy on the events of the show. And for those of you that are not seeing us, that are just hearing us, I have Deadpool in my hands being very happy.
Yes, it is. It is either a video or an audio for him, depending on where you get it from. But yeah, no. So we're good. We're good. Cool. Next up, we had what was actually probably my favorite episode of My Hero Academia this season. Mizu, I personally, I don't know about you. I'm sure you did. I would be flabbergasted if you didn't enjoy it. I really enjoyed this episode. There was a couple of points that were kind of weird to me. Kind of cool. The way that some of the new powers have been introduced, especially Mushroom Girl, who we were like, how the hell is growing mushrooms gonna be important or useful in battle? But my favorite thing is that I honestly thought Class 1A was gonna win every single one. I really like that Class 1B won. I didn't think it was going to happen. And when it happened, it was like, holy shit. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. What'd you think?
Honestly, it was just fantastic. I like how at first, like how we had the question about the mushroom girl. I'm like, yeah, like how does your mushroom work going to work? And man, and now after seeing, especially what she did to Tokiyami at the end of the thing, I was kind of scared. Like,
I thought it was going to die.
That's kind of morbid. Like, I hope he's all right. Like, but him, and one dude who was actually low key, whose quirk is kind of cool, is the Comic Con
Manga. Dude. His name is Manga, and I was like, did you look at the baby and name it Manga, or like, did you have the name Manga in your head and that shit just manifested?
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, is that there's a character, named Manga, whose ability is that he can manifest onomatopoeia. And for those who don't know what onomatopoeia is, that's when you say boom, scratch, those things you see in comic books. He can basically use those words, and those words are manifested into something. So if he says whoosh, he can make a gust of wind that says whoosh. Yeah. Like, it's kind of like the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen who says like
curse speech user.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kind of that way.
Toge.
I thought that was cool.
My note literally was Manga can literally make anything. Is he God? ? I was like, my man, like if he wants it to be warmer, he can make it warmer. If we see, he says moist, something, and it makes it moister. So more mushrooms grow. Like like it was like that is a incredibly powerful quirk. Like like you can make whatever you want. It's Yayarozo on a grand scale. And
for real, like think about that. Like, what if he said zap? Like he hasn't said like zap. He can basically kind of mimic Kaminari's quirk and like literally electrocute people if he wanted to.
Yeah, like there's almost endless repertoire of onomatopoeias. And the thing is, obviously, so like he says, like my voice is starting to get hoarse. So like it's like the curse speech user from JJK, where the more he uses it, the more it like comes back onto him. So like there is a give and take with that. But like you power that dude up, that's sick. And okay, and imagine he's got a very similar thing to Dark Shadow, where I feel for his mother. Imagine you just went through 8 hours of labor and your child has a comic book page for a face. You would be fucking terrified. You would be first off, who's the father? Like did I sit on the wrong book? What happened? Like I would be so shook. But yeah, no, he was really, really cool. And another thing that was really great about him was that we got what I think might be the only fourth wall break I can think of in MHA. The Sugar Crash guy is looking at Manga use his abilities, and Manga says, I think he says bam or something, and bam, and kanji comes up and it's massive. And it cuts to them and they're like, what are they going to do with him overseas? And it was a really funny joke. And I was like, oh shit. Are they gonna just write out bam in the dub? Like, what are they gonna do?
That is an interesting question. I like how they did that. That was very clever of them to bring that up.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And that is a good question. Like, yeah, how would they would they even attempt to do that?
I think they'll just write bam in quotation marks, you know, the way they do. They're like, this is kanji for you, you know. But yeah, no, and then outside of that, like obviously comic and the Mushroom Girl, we got like some cool like look into background characters, I'd say. But what we got, what was actually really, really cool was the battle of the minds, the battle of the beautiful minds between Yayarozo and Kendo. And we saw a lot of growth out of Yayarozo, which is cool. And that's kind of the idea of this entire arc, is to show growth. Because now the way that Todoroki basically put her in a corner was just like, listen, you back her into a corner, she's just gonna make tungsten shields. That's just what she does. And so she is like, she's just like using what she thought Kendo would think was her weakness in order to make a cannon to get a bag to Dark Shadow, Tokuyami. And that was really cool. It was cool to see that battle of the minds, because we don't get, I think the one trope that MHA is missing, ironically, is the super smart character. You know, we don't have the Lelouch, we don't have the Shikamaru. Like the principal has like the genius quirk, but we never see him. So it was cool. Like, did you enjoyed that fight, right?
Oh, absolutely. I shout out to first of all, shout out to Kendo, because one thing that people don't realize is that the shields that Momo makes are actually made of tungsten.
Hardest material on Earth.
Yeah. Yes, one of the hardest materials on Earth. And we just see Kendo just literally bash through those things like they were nothing. So yeah, like how strong are Kendo's fists? And as she said with the cannon, she was prepared to take on an actual cannonball with her hands.
Yeah.
So I thought that was crazy.
It was sick. And my thing is, okay, so Yayarozo. And it was funny that they quipped about this. They were like, she loves cannons. And I was like, all right, here's the thing. We have a hero whose entire quirk is he's accurate with guns. So we know guns exist. And she's like, big things take a while. Stop making cannons. Just make a Glock 9. Like, you get one shot with a cannon. It takes you 4 minutes to make. A Glock is this big, and it's just as intricate. Like, just make that.
Hey, big facts.
You know what? Oh, what did you say?
I was saying big facts, just as intricate. Yeah.
You know, it's also kind of funny that I don't know why it just made me laugh when they said that, oh, she likes cannons. So there's this because if you guys haven't heard of Team 4-Star, it's a YouTube channel, and they do like Dragon Ball Z abridged. They do a lot of abridged animation stuff. So one of their abridges is Hellsing Abridged Ultimate,
I fucking
And
love Hell's. Oh, it's so funny.
And one of the running jokes is that Alucard says that he's like, get that bitch a cannon. Bitches love cannons.
Bitches
And
love cannons. Yeah.
And when he said that, like, oh yeah, Yakurosu really loves cannons, and just made me laugh in my head, like, oh, bitches love cannons. Oh wow,
That's funny. The best moment in that entire Hell's. I talk for an hour about it, but he's like, you would need an anti-tank rifle to get through this armor. Just the shot, and he goes, oh fuck, that's an anti-tank rifle, and she just goes, bitches love cannons. And just, please, yes, if you haven't watched Hellsing Abridged episode, there's 3 episodes on YouTube. You please do. Like I would watch Hellsing Abridged before I watched Hellsing Ultimate. Hellsing Ultimate is incredible.
Exactly.
Hellsing Ultimate Abridged is better. But
I definitely agree with you. I stand by that statement as well.
Yes. But that's pretty much all I had on MHA. I don't know who's fighting next week. Did they tell us? I don't think they did they?
I don't think they did. I'm assuming that the next group is probably going to be like, I think Deku. Well, who else is left in team for Class 1A? I'm pretty sure we haven't seen the Copy Quirk guy go yet.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen Deku or Uraka go.
Yeah.
Or Bakugo either.
Bakugo.
So maybe Bakugo's team is next.
Yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope, right? Because it's looking like everyone, like all the side characters are probably going to get 2 story. I think all the fights are going to get 2 episodes. I think that's going to be the thing. We're looking at like 2 episode episodic little like stories. But yeah, looking forward to next week, obviously. Cool. Ready to get into catching up with Jose, who's sitting there so quietly, so willing and ready to break down what are the 3 best episodes in JJK. That would be 22 through 24, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think the last one that's on HBO Max is 22. So I am at the point where they meet they basically met the what's it called, the death painting Kechisu in the domain below the bridge. That's the last one that's dubbed or subbed.
Oh, you're on
in HBO Max.
Dubbed and subbed?
Yeah, that's the only thing that's there. That's that. It's
my guy.
Yeah, no. Like for JJK, I'm doing HBO Max. So I am there. I didn't know that there were an extra 2 episodes, but I'll get to those. Okay. I am at that point where they meet the first death painting. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite animes. Like this is really, really dope.
Yes.
I really like it. So far animation style, I'm still on the Demon Slayer hype train, but JJK story wise, it's gotten to the point that if I'm not looking, I'm a lore guy. So like if I'm not looking at the screen, paying attention for 5 minutes, I will have no idea what's happening because they introduce so much and it's so rich and they give like so many like little nuggets. In a span of like 3 minutes, I learned that Fushiguro has a sister. I learned that she's bedridden. I learned that she has a curse. I learned that you have to cross the bridge or like you need to have in order to like meet certain incomplete domains. You need to like have a symbolism of the afterlife. So like crossing over a bridge or crossing over a river, like that, so much intricate, like storytelling. That's just like nuggets of gold for me. So I loved the fight against Hanami. The fight against Hanami was amazing. Todo's clap is great. I
one
love
of my favorite moments in anime in recent years was the boogie. What is it? Boogie Showdown or something like that.
I don't know. I don't remember what he calls it, but he's like, clap, 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 and she can never figure it out, right? Because like he can clap without actually activating his curse technique. And the fact that they explained that like his mind works so much faster than everybody else's, like he figured out in his own like little world with Takada or whatever his name is, whatever her name is, like that, like idol. That you can't combat Hanami's blooms if you're using cursed energy, and he figured that in 0.1 seconds, apparently, according to like the text. And I'm like, yo, that is ridiculous. Todo is OP as fuck, but not more OP than my guy Satoru Gojo. Oh my god, I love him. I loved it.
You did see red and blue. You saw purple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like so the entire fight against Hanami is good. Like he did the whole across the forest. And we did see, what was the name of the what's the name of the other curse? Like the one that looks like Mahito. Mahito.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, like Frankenstein. Yeah. So Mahito saves him. The only thing that I like, obviously, I want to get your interpretations and like your opinions on how the anime is going so far. The only thing that I was a bit confused was when they were talking about, like, obviously they're still trying to find the curse user that's helping all the curses like get the reinforcements, the death paintings and stuff like that. I don't remember if they explained how they want to seal Satoru Gojo. Like the explanations for like the veil and like some veils work more for hiding than protecting. Like it was just a little bit like too much information, I think, at one time that I was like, what the hell's happening? Like I was
okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen Hunter x Hunter?
No. Okay. I'm that's in my list too.
Okay. Well, basically the way it works is the more specific you make something, the more powerful it can be. And Hunter x Hunter works much in the same way.
Okay.
Kurapika is one of the characters, and he makes very specific rules that he has to fulfill that makes his powers more powerful. Okay. So even explaining the powers to a person makes it more powerful. And that's what the dude that everyone says is absolutely packing. He does the 5/7 slices. I'm spacing his name. But so the more specific you're like, so the veil, that veil isn't supposed to keep anything or anyone out except for Satoru Gojo. So that's why it's powerful enough to keep him out. Because there's so many conditions around it that make it weak to other things that it makes it very strong against him.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. But no, you're right. That fight against Hanabi is incredible. I'm so excited for you to get, because they just went into the incomplete domain. They do talk like there's like the door demon that kills every one of their entryways. They all did like those like, they're not like rite of passages, but they did like the you did see all this, right?
So
I have two heads.
No. The thing is that like I don't remember specifically like when they left off, because it's episode 22. So I don't know if there's 24 episodes. You might be a little bit more. Yeah, I think I'll get those somehow. Okay. I'll do like nine anime or something.
Nine anime or something. Yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah. Pay for your anime. Yeah, unless of course you want.
I am paying for HBO Max. I am paying for HBO Max. So
exactly. Yeah. But yes, no, you have. Listen, I think 22 through 24 are the three. First off, that show is like a nice red wine. Only gets better as it keeps going.
Yeah.
So the last 3 episodes are going to change you. You're gonna look at characters in ways you never looked at them before. You're gonna realize that characters who have taken background roles are going to be some of your favorite.
Maki.
Maki is always incredible. I won't spoil anything for you. But yes. Yeah. You are going to be ecstatic, and we will talk about it next week. I am very excited. Anything else you want to talk on, JJK?
I feel like on this, and this is just my honest opinion. I know they've been set specific conditions, and I'm honest. I'm sure that once Sukuna decides to reveal his full power, it'll be a massacre. But I honestly feel like Itadori is kind of like either holding back or not as powerful as I thought. Just like using I know that they explained it like he can channel cursed energy, but he can't do like the techniques because he's technically a vessel and not a full sorcerer, or however they explained it. But like I still feel like
he's also very new to cursed
exactly
energy.
Very true. But I feel like Black Flash is really deadly, really effective, right? And he broke the record for using it consecutively, so we know he's powerful. But I feel like there's so much of a power level difference between him, Todo, and then Gojo. Like there's like such a high ladder to climb that I'm like, okay, I know Goro, my God, Mortal Kombat, fuck me. Gojo, I know Gojo mentioned like, oh, he's had a solid like a power increase since we last saw him.
Yeah.
And for Gojo to identify that's like pretty significant. But like, dude, when we see Gojo in his like domain just do the fucking like purple technique, I'm like, bro, this dude can literally just like, he's like Dr. Manhattan up in this bitch.
Yeah. Like, I mean, people say if he could beat Goku in a fight, like he is very, very powerful. And what is otherwise a universe kind of scaled to the beginning levels of Naruto.
Okay.
He is Goku. But that's the thing. It's kind of a trope like that is in a shonen. Like, remember the first time we saw Kakashi go all out in the Land of Waves arc? Him versus Zabuza felt like we were looking at different like different beings entirely. Like Zabuza and Haku come into the mix and you're like, oh my God, like how is anyone ever going to scale to this level? And by the end of it, they're space warriors fighting in giant mech suits. So like it definitely is like they're setting the gold standard of what the highest looks like in the universe. But Itadori over the next couple of episodes is also you will understand.
Okay,
yes. So I am excited for you to see that. What do you think?
I had one last thing because I was slightly confused because I know it was a lot of information to digest in one sitting.
Yes, it is.
so
gotta put the phone down, flip it over when you're watching JJK.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah.
And then like for example, so we saw Mahito go and grab all of the sacred artifacts, cursed artifacts that they were guarding.
That was the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got us. I think it was 6 of Sukuna's 20 fingers. And they got the 3 cursed paintings. What exactly are the cursed paintings? Because I know, like, are they just like curses that are left in stasis until they're like released? And because I know they bonded Keshitsu into like a random human, but is it like do they need a specific vessel to reach their full power? Like for example, Sukuna, or like how do they work broader scale? Because they gave a little bit of context, but I'm not sure if it's just the next 2 episodes are the ones that are going to explain it.
I think Mizu probably knows better than I do on this one, right?
I haven't really caught up so much with the manga with Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of the gist of how they work. I can't really give you a lot on that either.
Okay, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was on the right track.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track as well. I don't know though. I can't say yes or no. I don't think so.
Yeah, because I mean, creepy. They like Kechitsu took the Jogo approach and said like, "Oh, you're gonna play with me now?" I was like, "Damn, if you're treating Itadori as like a plaything, you must be really powerful."
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I was very excited about that. So yeah, I'm still super excited, and Miwa is still forever in my heart. Even though I've seen her for a total of 15 minutes, she's my waifu for the show. So yes,
there's tons of good options, but she is certainly up
top
there.
Tier.
Top tier. Okay, cool. That leads us to, since we were just talking to you, Mizu, that talks us. We didn't get one last week, unfortunately. But I know our manga readers out there have been waiting anxiously with Shonen Jump open on their phones for this recommendation. So how about you give us the manga recommendation of the week, Mizu?
Yes, sir. So the one manga that I have for this week is called Mr. Sakamoto. What is Mr. Sakamoto? Well, Mr. Sakamoto is a legendary assassin for hire. It starts off that way. Like we're talking John Wick level assassin type.
Hide in plain sight.
Mercenary individual. He's so skilled that like everybody knows who he is and everybody's afraid of him. Just like I said, like John Wick.
You working again, John? I think I'm back.
And funny enough, so as he's doing his job, one day he conveniently goes into a convenience store and meets this beautiful woman that he thinks is just amazing. And right then and there, he quits being an assassin.
Yep.
He quits being an assassin. He gets with her. He gets married. He has a child with her. And of course, you know, with marriage, he puts on some love weight.
Yeah.
My man gets
comfortable. It's called getting comfortable.
Yeah, he puts on like over 100, 200 pounds.
Oh, that's more than comfortable.
So yeah, my man is heavy set, but he's happy. That's all that matters. He's very happy. He loves what he's doing, and he works for his wife at the convenience store. And we see him, you know, doing stuff at the convenience store, but at the same time, he still has his skill set. So don't let his appearance fool you. This man is still a killer. And one day, one of his old partners shows up and is just like, "Hey, man, you just disappeared out of nowhere." Because I guess and weird thing enough, it's only been 5 years.
Okay.
So he's like, "Hey, man, you just disappeared on us, and we're very salty about that." And now
you got to do the impossible job to get out. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Exactly. And kind of just like John Wick Chapter 3, they put a hit on him. They put a hit on him, so everybody and their mom is trying to find him and kill him. And so his partner's just like, "Well, I'd rather put you out of your misery myself."
Yeah.
And he tries to shoot him and it looks like he missed. But then we see a freeze frame is that he shot him and he was chewing on gum and he spit the gum to stop the bullet.
Oh my
God. Is how crazy powerful this man is.
That's awesome.
So he's just sitting here like, okay. And so they have a whole fight and debacle. And one thing else that's interesting is that powers to a point exist because his partner can read minds from a certain distance.
Oh, that's kind of dope. I mean, also, if you can spit gum fast enough to stop a bullet, like what that mouth do?
I mean,
oh yeah.
But
I mean, that's
for
power.
real. But for real, he they of course they have a little fight, and of course, Sakamoto wipes the floor with him, and he basically didn't kill him, but he was just like, hey, like I'm done doing that assassin stuff, and you should be too. And he convinces his partner to join to work at the convenience store.
Oh hell yeah, we got the most best defended convenience store of all time.
He's like, oh, so I know that. Plus, he was just like, I noticed that you still have your assassin skills, but you don't really kill anybody. How come? Why is that? And then his wife says out of nowhere, she's like, hey, I heard there was a scuffle going on. He said, was there anything going on with that? He's just like, no. He's just shaking his head because he doesn't really talk much. Did you kill anyone? And he's shaking his head like, no, I didn't kill anyone. And he said, you better not, because if you kill anyone, I will divorce you. And that's the reason why he doesn't kill anybody.
Oh, love it.
You know what?
And so
for love.
So overall, it's like John Wick meets The Equalizer.
Oh, hell yeah.
In a slice of life setting. So he's in this convenience store. We see him have playing little interactions where there's like a customer who is, excuse me. There's a customer who is in there who's just like, oh, I was looking for this. I can't find it. He's annoyed. And he's yelling at Mr. Sakamoto. And we just see his inner thoughts of him taking a pencil and stabbing him in the throat.
Yeah.
And he's just
with
like,
a pencil.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, sir, I'm talking to you. He's just like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry we didn't have the item that you're looking for. Please come again another day. He's like, oh, I'm never coming here again. And of course, Mr. Sakamoto breaks the pencil in his hand. He's just like, you can't kill anyone. And of course, his partner is reading his mind because another interesting thing is that Mr. Sakamoto doesn't talk a lot. He's short with his responses, but his partner can read his mind. So he talks to him kind of telepathically.
Okay. Yeah. You get like a bird's eye view on the whole thing.
For real. And honestly, that's pretty much the whole gist of it. And we see him go against all these upcoming assassins who are trying to kill him or his family. And there's some people he might know, and they end up some of them end up joining the convenience store, adding more employees. So he has his former partner. He meets another person who joins the convenience store with them. So it's pretty cool. I like the art style. It's pretty laid back. And I definitely can see this also being an anime that just throws people off. Yeah,
of course. It's like one of those ones. It's like One Punch Man, where it starts with a person looking at like a complete like kind of like this badass, and then it like cuts to them being like completely different looking, and it's like, hey, listen, he may be bald and in a yellow jumpsuit, but he will ruin your day.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's really just like that. He may be heavy set and he may look like he's not threatening, but he is threatening. And there's also kind of a running gag that, funny enough, though he has all that weight, he actually can lose it just like that and gain it just like that. There's a whole scene where this whole mob is messing with him, and out of nowhere, Mr. Sakamoto comes up and helps him, and there's like he had like a valve and he started spewing out steam. And in the midst of that steam, at the end of the steam finally clears, and we see Mr. Sakamoto what he looked like back when he was in his like John Wick form. Yeah. And they're just like, whoa, like, is it him? Like who are you? And he's just like, oh yeah, I lost some of my weight because of that steam. And then he's talking to his friend. He said, oh, you look just like your old self again. He said, yep. And then the next panel, we see him the next day, he's eating all his food again, and he's back to his heavy stuff.
Exactly. Okay, so John Wick meets Fat Gum, essentially.
Pretty much.
Perfect. All right, that sounds really funny. That sounds like a lot of fun, guys. If you were into manga, cut into that. Anything else?
No, sir. That's all it.
All right, then let's get into, guys. I got my own section. All right, it's only a one-time thing though, so don't get used to it. But yes, we are doing seasonal. So I've been saying the past couple of weeks, I've been looking for I've had this hole in my chest, the size of JJK, the size of Dr. Stone, reincarnated as a slime, AOT, those 4 anime that got me through the dark, dark winter. So you know what? I said, the hell with it. I'm going to go searching for an anime. I'm going to find me an anime that fills that hole. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I found them. I've actually found 3 of them. There's 4 of them out. There's 4 seasonal anime I think you should be watching, but 3 of them are currently filling that hole for me. And we're gonna go bottom to top here. Okay, so coming in at number 4, and I've talked about it. We've gone over it. To Your Eternity, about a being that falls to the earth and can emulate the things it touches. And listen, I know it's at the bottom of the list here. It slowed down for a couple episodes, but we got an incredible fight scene out of it. And the show it's quirky, it's interesting. The main protagonist didn't say his first words until the end of episode 3. We're building an interesting kind of isekai-esque world into this story. It's very sad, it's very well animated, and it's very interesting. So if you're into isekais, if you like crying just a little bit alone in your bedroom, then To Your Eternity is a high recommendation. And then coming in at number 3, and you know what? I feel like I'm gonna get shit for this. I'm gonna get shit for putting this at 3, but Tokyo Revengers. Tokyo Revengers is another one I talked about a little bit on the show already, but Tokyo Revengers is essentially about a guy who can go back in time. And I have a question for both of you. I have a video in my TikTok, in my drafts right now sitting that I'm gonna blast out to the public, but that's one for the listeners in YouTube because I want to get your opinion on it. It's a guy who can go back 12 years in time. And he's essentially trying to save all the people in his life that, like, being a delinquent eventually, like, either made them gang affiliated, got them murdered, or just straight up miserable. So he can go back in time trying to save his middle school girlfriend, his middle school girlfriend's brother, who then becomes a cop that helps him in the future, and his friends that were delinquents that got absorbed into what is essentially the Yakuza. And it gives a very interesting look into delinquency. It uses non-typical protagonists. We have gotten things like Series K and other shows where we have the protagonists that are delinquent, Bakuno, things like that. But it definitely is a different genre of protagonist, and I really appreciate it. I think the writing is good. I actually almost wrote it off, but the most recent episode was incredible, and it is only getting better. So highly recommend. But my question for you two is, all right, because this has been eating me alive. All right, you're 25 years old. We're all close to that age. Let's say you had a girlfriend when you were 13. Okay, you're 25. You get teleported back. So you now have the body of a 13-year-old, but you have the brain of a 25-year-old. This is a trope. It happens in Erased. It happens in Tokyo Revengers, a couple other shows. Do you have to leave your girlfriend? Is it weird? Is it weird to be with your girlfriend because you're 13, but you got the mind of a 25-year-old? I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, he's 13, but he's also 25. And I'm like, is it weird? Is it okay? I don't know.
It's the same dynamic that we faced when we watched Invincible, right? With Robot and Mystery Girl, because like they're both put into child bodies, but they're essentially like 30.
30.
So I would say I personally would steer away from that, and maybe would steer away from that. And like, if we're talking about like saving them from imminent doom, I've watched enough Final Destination to know, do not fuck with death. Okay,
it'll get you.
If there's no spiritual implications, that may be another story. But if we are counting the fact that there's some level of spiritual repercussions to messing with the appetite of Lady Death, she is going to catch that Shadow Realm hand pretty easy, because I'm not going to stop it. I ain't going to stop it. I might invest a little bit in Uber and Bitcoin and Google.
That's the thing. Yeah. If you're going back 12 years, you just buy Bitcoin, get some Dogecoin.
Yeah. Get some Doge and Bitcoin while you're early. But besides that, don't mess with the past. I think Supernatural's covered it too, when like you have to basically account for people that survived the Titanic. Like that's an episode. That's when that was really cool. In Supernatural, they basically, all the survivors of the Titanic like made it, and so the Titanic wasn't even like a novel thing. It was just like the biggest ship,
the boat. Yeah.
And so like there were like doctors and people that were famous, but there were also like genocides because like there were
there's more people. Yeah.
Really shitty people there. So it's kind of a tough ask. I want to see what Mizu has to say about it.
Honestly, I definitely agree with Jose. Like that is just the realm like you kind of don't want to mess with because it can be very weird.
Things can go wrong. It's called the butterfly effect. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very weird, and I definitely agree that if that's something like that happened to me, I would definitely try to invest in things like tell my parents like, hey, there's this thing called Amazon. You should put some stock into that.
Yeah.
Like,
the annoying part is you're 13, you have no money. You can't buy anything, you know?
Hey, your parents are gonna be very rich people.
Yeah, exactly.
Try a little bit harder in school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Stuff
exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, and
that would help. And depending on like as you said, like you have people in your past who are now messed up in the future. Like I would try to help them out as long as it's not involving somebody who died. But like if it's something I can maybe change someone's course of life to something better, I mean, I would attempt to do that. All depends on the future though, because what if like you do something good for that person, which ends up being worse for somebody else or yourself?
Yeah. It's actually funny we're having this conversation because number 2 on the list for seasonal anime you guys should be watching is To Your Eternity, which is literally the entire premise of it is changing the future by going back to the past. That is the whole premise of this show is that 100 years in the future, sentient AIs and humans are now in like an incredibly bloody battle that's causing a lot of people to die, a lot of humans to die. And so an AI is a Terminator, essentially. An AI is sent back to talk to the first autonomous AI, and every like 5 or 15 years, that AI will come back and talk to the AI and try and prevent a certain event in history that is believed to have built up to that war. And so basically the way that they're doing it is there's 6 episodes now, so it's a bit ahead of the other seasonal anime, but every 2 episodes is a new event. And so it's kind of episodic. You get introduced to a whole new cast of characters every 2 episodes. And this show, I was this close to dropping it. I watched up to episode 3, and then I was like, it was before the podcast today. I was like, I don't know, am I going to drop it? Should I keep watching it? And I go back and I watch episode 4, and I'm like, holy shit, that was good. Episode 5, that's a fucking masterpiece. Episode 6, oh my God, I can't wait for episode 7. And it jumped Tokyo Revengers for me. And that's why, like, I think there's gonna be some problem because Tokyo Revengers has some steam right now out of people are talking about. People love it. But To Your Eternity, beautifully animated, incredible soundtrack, pointed conversations. It's just likable protagonist, great character development out of the MC. And the fight scenes are, I mean, they are boxing. It is God of high school level boxing. So it is an incredible anime, but it is still not number 1 because number 1 is my favorite mech anime of all time, 86. 86 on Crunchyroll right now is Darling in the Franxx, but better. Take the shit out of Darling in the Franxx that made it corny. Like the fact that the mechs were 2-paired teams and they had to pull the handles out of the hips. Take that shit out. Make the animation smoother. Best CGI I've seen in anime outside of Kengan Ashura. Give it actual conversation about fascism and fake woke culture, and you have an actual masterpiece. It is so good. So good. It is an outsider's and insider's perspective onto the reality of fascism. It is like if Nazi, it's like inside of Nazi like Germany essentially, but like there's one character who operates like who is like let's say Aryan for the sake of the Nazi Germany like connection, and she works in the military, and now there's these drones out there. They're called drones, but they're actually piloted by people who are just deemed to be less than people because they don't have blue hair and blue eyes. And so this entire it's an entire talk about fascism, and she's like, I'm nice to them, so like I'm doing a good thing. But they're like, you haven't even asked us our real names, like you use our code names, all these things. So it's an incredible look into you may think you're helping because you're not hurting, but unless you're out there like on the lines with them, you're not doing a damn thing. And that is a very important Like it plays very well in today's society, and B, it is a large part of of the show. So if you are gonna listen to me ramble and you're gonna watch one of those animes, watch 86. I don't care if you like mechs, if you don't like mechs, you will like this anime. It is good. They just only have 4 episodes right now, and I am foaming at the mouth for a 5th episode. But yes,
I definitely give that a watch.
Please do. Okay. All right. Now that
okay, before you leave out the point, from 0 to maybe like Gundam / Neon Genesis, how good is this?
Okay. So let's say, oh boy. See, here's the thing. It is a mech anime. But it's not like a space mech anime. They're in these like spider-esque, like imagine an Abrams tank, but instead of tread, it has spider legs.
Okay.
So they're like that. So it's not like Space Wars with huge shields and like
not
swords.
Pacific Rim. It's not
Pacific Rim. It's not even on necessarily the scale of Darling in the Franxx. They basically also, like, the bad guys are these actual drones, like evil spider legs, cannon things as well. But I'm giving a solid, like, if I'm doing like a my anime list, like ranking, 9.2 to 86.
Solid.
Yeah. So highly as high as I can recommend that show. Watch it. Okay. Now that I'm done ranting, we got winners and losers of the week. And I've been going first recently, so I feel like it's best that I cede the floor to somebody else. I want to be polite.
Big fans.
Jose, Mizu, winners or losers?
I got this. I got a few. So first of all, winner of the week for me, one of them is Gojo. Definitely like leveled up his level of hype in my brain, because like the man is so nonchalant about his power that I just want to know him better. Yeah. So he's my first winner of the week. My first loser of the week is Hanami. She got her ass handed to her.
She literally got clapped.
Yeah, she literally got clappity clapped. She definitely took an L right there. And also to a certain extent, Mark lost a father figure, lost a hero. He basically spent 2 weeks in the operating room. Bad week to be Mark Rose.
My note is he's getting better at getting beaten up. He's taking more punches to get beaten up now.
I do not know how much those skin grafts for Viltrumites are gonna cost, but he got his teeth, he got everything.
That's where your tax
I'll take him.
Go.
I'll take him as the loser. But the biggest winner of the week, which we will get to next week. Oh, sweet baby Lord. Us Star Wars fans are about to have a field day.
Yes.
Next week. The Bad Batch, second animated, technically, like after the Clone Wars season 7, the second official Disney produced show. It's going to be covering the Bad Batch, which for those of you that don't know, it's basically Rex's squad. Technically Rex's squad for Star Wars. I'm personally really excited about that. It's going to be the best thing that's going to keep my mind sane besides anime up until Loki hits our brainwaves this June. Super excited. If you guys want to cover it at some point, we shall. Those are my picks.
Oh yeah. We'll be talking Bad Batch. You kidding me? Invincible's over. I need another animated series. All right.
Big facts.
Yeah, we're going Bad Batch. All right, Jose, Mizu, please.
So for my winners are, first off, Class 1B.
Yeah. Let's go.
They definitely got a win after the most recent episode against Class 1A, because I mean, like I said before, Class 1B has very interesting characters and also very interesting, if not more powerful quirks than Class 1A. And it's nice to see them actually get a W. And of course, it's nice also to see that My Hero didn't go into the trend of making the predominant
just win
everything.
Win. Yes,
exactly. And they made it seem like they were going to win too, but they didn't, which was fantastic. My second winner is Yasuke. So honestly, the fact that his story is being told is just fantastic to me.
Not the show, the person.
The person, yes.
Same
the
boat.
person,
I'm in the
the
same
story,
boat.
Everything. My losers are Mark, as you said earlier, as Jose said. Mark is definitely a loser in sadly so many ways, as Jose said, like not only in just fighting, he lost his dad, was in the hospital. It's just I've never seen a man lose that bad. And here's the thing, the funny thing is we talk a lot of smack about Deku being like taking L's, but man, I never seen an animated character take such a bad L as Mark did.
He was like fresh off the I forget what the tiger with the club was.
Oh, bro,
what was her name?
Mauled.
She was also shown in those smash cuts at the end there. But yeah, like he was like fresh off healing of that. They were like, "Don't worry, Mark's on the way." They're like, "All right, cool. We still have his bed from last time." Like,
get a sensu bean.
Yeah, like he needs a Karin or a sensu bean in his life. But that's actually kind of what I like about because actually the Karins and the sensu beans are one of my least favorite things about anime. Because I consider it like plot armor. It's like poor writing to be like, oh, this fight has no consequences because we have this person. Like Sasuke got smacked twice by Killer Bee and was still fine because he had his walking sensu bean and Karin. So I like that there's consequences that come after the battles. He's laid up for 2 weeks. He's got a chin split open. He's got a collapsed orbital, like all that kind of stuff. Like I like that a lot about Invincible.
Definitely. My second loser is also Yasuke. The reason I say this,
the show, not the person.
So yes, Yasuke, the anime, was my loser for the fact that, granted, don't get me wrong, I'm still grateful that it just exists. However, I feel like they didn't take the really necessary steps to make this good enough to be on the same level of like Afro Samurai. Because people don't like Afro Samurai was inspired by Yasuke's story about a black samurai, and of course it's a cult classic.
It's incredible. If you haven't seen it, watch it. One of the best soundtracks outside of maybe like Samurai Champloo or Space Spouse Jesus Space
Boondocks
or what is it? Cowboy Bebop. There we go. Cowboy or Space Dandy. Yeah. But yes, watch Afro Samurai. All right, cool. Any other winners? No, it's me. Nope. It's me. Okay. My winner for the week is men who like blue-haired anime women. So we're looking at you, Jose. We're looking at me because Vivi has blue hair. The main character in the commander in the 86 has blue hair. We're talking Simple Domain and Jujutsu Kaisen. If you like blue hair, we are having. Listen, in the early 2000s, it was all about red hair. We had Rias, we had Yuno, we had pink hair. The Tsunderes. But now, blue-haired female protagonists are making the comeback, and if you're into it, you're a winner. My loser, though, is Ayama, Naval Laser from MHA, because it's hard to be less useful than the girl who grows mushrooms that only last 3 hours. Okay, he first off, we didn't even see him get abducted. The only thing he did was literally make light in the first episode. He didn't hit anything. He just made light. Yes, Ayama is my definitive loser of the week. I just don't get how you would listen, you have a cool ability. You can shoot lasers out of your stomach. Like you're like Cyborg, but lower. Okay, like figure it out. Figure it out. Stop being useless. Okay, that's all I got. That's all I got. Are we all good? We're all good on our winners and losers?
I would like one more thing. I really want the closing cinematic for JJK back. I like the whole like funky jazz.
Gotta eat. Dude, I was also pissed about that.
Dude, they took it out, and I was looking for, this is the first time that I've been looking forward to the credits for an anime, like the ending credits, because obviously like the AOT one is like everybody's excited for like the intro to AOT, but like bro, the outro for JJK with the funky jazz, I was like, oh shit, this is my jam.
All of them just like with like absolutely incredible fits, just getting down.
I love it. Love it. But R.I.P. loser of the week.
Well, that's the thing. So I've actually been on record saying, well, yes, the first EP is better. But just in general, that show has goated endings because the second one is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's still like really, really good. But yes,
Definitely.
no. They're revolutionizing what it means to be those ending credits. I mean, also their OPs are good. That entire show is just so. I'm gonna rewatch it. I'm gonna rewatch it. It is because you were saying it's one of your top favorites. It's in my top 5. And it's only got 24 episodes out, and it's in my top 5 easily.
Yes, sir.
But yes, all right, cool. Mizu, closing points.
Definitely watch Invincible if you haven't watched it yet.
Watch Invincible.
Same thing with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
If you are interested in reading manga, like I said, there's an app called Shonen Jump.
There's also an
Definitely
app called Black
download it.
Sands.
It only costs $1 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's chump change. Only $1, and you can get there's literally as of right now, there's no limit that I've seen
to how much you
with
can
the
read.
manga.
Yeah.
And if you also like just reading in general, not just manga, there's also Black Sands Entertainment. Black Sands also has their app. It just came out yesterday, and they also have tons of stories centered around people of color. You should definitely give that a download and just stay awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking in for another week with us. We appreciate you hanging out. We will see you next week to talk Bad Batch, MHA. Unfortunately, not Invincible. We're going to shed one singular tear for that. And who knows, by then, maybe one of us will be caught up with 86. Who knows? But until then, guys, leave us a 5-star review, 4 stars. If you really hate us, hit like, hit subscribe, do all the damn things. I am Nickccomedy on TikTok, NCHammer23 on YouTube and Twitch. Jose?
Tropical Joe on TikTok. On YouTube, it is Tropical Joe as well. And on Instagram, I'm Tropical Joe. Or you can just go to the link in my bio and you'll find me everywhere.
There's a tree for it. It's called your link tree.
Yes, sir.
Mizu
Shogun on TikTok, Mizy Shogun as well on YouTube and Instagram.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Bye.